There were a couple funny things that I remember. My first interview was at the very end of the day, and so I won't say who was interviewing me, but he was very tired, as I'm sure anyone would be from 15 or 20 interviews, all packed into one day, maybe more than that. And so he was literally nodding off as I was talking, and I thought, well, this is horrible. He's not going to remember me at all, and I'm clearly not going to get anywhere. And so when I got on to the second round, I almost wondered if he took pity on me because he didn't even remember whether I made sense or not. And then the second interview was with Lowellwood. And the first funny story about that was I got just the name of who was interviewing me. And so I did a quick Google search for Lowellwood. And the first result that came up was, I think, a geophysicist from a university I hadn't heard of, who seemed like a fairly average guy, and I wasn't too worried, until I looked down the results list in Google a little bit and found this other Lowellwood with a Rolling Stone article about how he was planning on transforming the world, and this great image of him that was shown at the last workshop. And so I was a little bit nervous at that point, especially after talking to someone else who had been interviewed by him, and so it was awful. He's so harsh, and so almost again I felt lucky in that he actually wasn't very mean to me. He asked some bizarre questions, but I enjoyed thinking on my feet of answers. So explaining quantum mechanics to the ghost of Isaac Newton was the memorable one from that interview. And it's a funny interview in that I walked away not really knowing how I had done. And so I was certainly surprised to get the fellowship, like I'm sure a lot of people were. But I think the interviews also set a good tone in terms of being interested in science from sort of novel perspectives and not just sort of going a traditional academic route to thinking about science, but really encouraging thinking in new ways.